Do you think Trump could ever play a factor in any of these negotiations? Him being president now, not a union-friendly president, seems to be a concern among some people. I wonder if you had any thoughts on that.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Mike Caref is National Business Agent for Region 3 of the National Association of Letter Carriers. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Do you have time to stay on and take calls with us, or do you want to go ahead and roll out?
I'm here at my kid is in Saturday school.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for her to come out the door, but she hasn't come out the door yet. So let's go.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Well, let's go ahead and bring a caller on the line. 614 area code is the number, calling from a 614 area code. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Doug, and I'm calling from Columbus, Ohio, branch 78. And I would like to thank Mike for what he just stated. He's going to have my vote, and I'll get the word out, word of mouth. Hopefully Columbus will be supporting him. I can't guarantee that. But in short, I'm due to retire, but I'm going to pull my retirement because I don't trust what's going to happen with the OPM. If I were to do completed retirement, it's just not there. And I do support Mike standing up and putting a stop to violence in the workplace. So I guess I'll hang up and listen. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Doug from Ohio, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Any reaction to that, Mike?
Yeah, one of the issues we had in the last contract, I made mention that how the thing kind of goes on, and then the terms are retroactive back to the expiration of the contract. And what they did was people, when they retire, the annuity is calculated. OPM is the agency that calculates the annuity, and it's based on the pay that the Postal Service tells them you're making. Well, then you get these retroactive pay raises, and they got to recalculate the thing. But I know people are still getting their annuities recalculated from the last contract, which was, agreed to like 4 years ago. So that does take a long time, and I don't blame the brother at all for waiting around to see what the terms are actually going to be, waiting for him to get his back pay so that they can properly calculate what his annuity would be, and he'll know what his annuity will be so he can plan his finances and see if he's going to be able to retire or not. So that's another issue with the delay in the contract negotiations.
Right. This caller is from a 617 area code. Caller from a 617 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is John Murphy. I'm out of Naples, Florida.
John from Florida. What's on your mind?
I'm on the steering committee for BFN. We have a meeting tomorrow morning to discuss moving forward with nationwide contract rallies for a fair contract now. I also want to highlight the fact that this is a momentum in the NALC that the rank and file should not sit back and let dissipate. Most of the branches across the country have old guards in it, right? They support Renfro. They support not actually getting out on the streets. We have a small window from 2025 to 2026 to change our branches. And I recommend everyone to buy the book from the Teamsters from a Democratic Union that's called, I just had it here. The book is called Running for a Local Union Office. And that's where the change has to start. It doesn't just start with voting out Renfro. If you've ever been an organizer around long enough, you know you can replace one boss with another boss. So you still come across the same problem. We need to change our branches. We need to put new blood with new ideas in there, with bold ideas. We have Trump now attacking federal workers. Our trans rights in the workplace are getting attacked, getting eroded. And the next thing is going to be the gay rights will be eroded. It's one attack on one worker is going to be an attack on all workers. So I just came on here to say solidarity with everyone that voted no. Don't have any hostility towards the people that voted yes. Your enemy is the boss, not your coworkers. And to help organize resistance and reform in your branch level. And shout out to Mike Caref.
John,
hey John, how you doing, brother?
Thank you for the call. I really appreciate it, and that's an important note about making sure to get active in your local unions, whatever form that might take. I think that's how, the NALC at the national level is not going to be able to lead a fight, no matter who is the president, without strong locals and strong and engaged membership. I think that's right. Mike, do you have any reactions to that?
Yeah, so every branch of the NALC has a meeting once a month. And so we planned this March on Washington for March 23rd. to give every branch time to have their meetings, and they could also call for a special meeting. But the idea would be we want every branch in the NALC to endorse this thing. And the ones on the East Coast, you can get buses, you can send people. The ones that might be further away, maybe you send a representative or two, somebody fly out there, or just make it available to the members if they want to go or if they're able to go. So, bringing this fight, the local branches, run the union. And one thing that we saw in this referendum on the tentative agreement is that a lot of branches, John said, hey, we got a lot of old guard kind of branches or whatever. And you got a lot of branches that stood up and said, no, we're not gonna support this contract the way it's written. So there's definitely that dynamic going on, and all we can do is encourage the people to get more involved and to take an active role in our future. And that starts with getting a good contract. That starts with mobilizing our members and getting the public on our side, which is, what we're trying to do here.
We got another caller.
So I encourage them to get on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you would like to get where these callers are, it's 844-899-TVLR. That is 844-899-8857. Mike, I think I heard a child in the background. Do you need to go ahead and roll out?
No, she's
Okay.
The teacher walked her out. I'm in the parking lot. We're good. She just went and got in the car because she's not a letter carrier. She said she was cold. I'm like, why are you cold, kid?
This caller's from a 715 area code. Caller from a 715 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Also, you don't have to give your last name. You can if you want, but you don't have to. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Harley, and I'm Wisconsin. I'm a city carrier.
Harley from Wisconsin. What's on your mind?
All right, so I think in the contract should really get extended. Instead of ending in 26, we should probably go to year 28. Just a suggestion, just a year to throw out there. Sort of rejecting it, we may as well kind of beef up the contract and, extend it a little bit longer duration. Wondering what your thoughts are on that real quick.
Do you have any other questions? We'll take that. We'll let you go, but I want to get any other questions, and we'll answer both of them if you've got another one. Harley, you are you're breaking up. I don't know if you're in a bad service area, but I'm having difficulty hearing you.
You want me to just answer that question about the length of the contract?
Harley hung up. Yeah, so Harley's question was about extending the contract.
I got the
question. So what are your thoughts on that, Mike?
So the length of the contract is normally a negotiation. I mean, we have actuaries and economists, as does the other side. And, you're looking at how do you think the economy is going to fare going forward. And so if you think that, wages are going to go up, then we would want a shorter contract if we thought that, because we'd want to renegotiate as wages go up. We'd want to renegotiate so that we can get some of those higher wages. If we felt the opposite, if we felt that our wages would be, say, higher than the rate of inflation going forward, then we want a longer contract. So that's one of the factors. President Renfro believes that we should negotiate a contract that ends in November, which is what he did through the tentative agreement. It ends in November of 2026. We could easily extend it to November of 2027 or November of 2028. There's a movement out there, I think, from the UAW that everyone should align their contracts to end on May the 1st. So that's another factor or thought process that, that could come into the thing. But anyway, those are just some of the factors. I wouldn't micromanage it. I mean, that's up to the president to determine what would be our best strategy on that.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Another caller. This caller from a 773 area code. Caller from a 773 area
That's
code.
Chicago.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rodney Weatherspoon from Branch 11.
Rodney from Branch 11. What's on your mind?
Man, just one. I've been a carrier for 11. Coming up on 11 years. This is the first time I've ever been proud to be in the NALC. I'm happy about the members. fighting back for ourselves. 'Cause hey, the post office has took a decline.
Always glad to hear folks that are proud to be members of their unions. Rodney, is there anything else that you wanted to share?
No, not too much. Just happy our union stood together and voted that terrible contract down.
All right, thanks for the call, Rodney. Appreciate it.
Me too, brother.
If you want to get where he was, you can give us a call, 844-899-8857. That is 844-899-TVLR. Caller from a 269 area code. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Michigan.
Hey, this is Brian. I'm a pretty new union member, so I don't even know the branch number that I'm a part of yet. But anyway, hey, just quick, two quick questions. One would be something I've been thinking about is with Mike and James Henry both running for 2026. I know this is kind of down the road, but what's Mike's opinion on of having two people running against Brian Renfro? Doesn't that kind of weaken our solidarity of getting him out? And feel free to explain that. And then also, just curious where Mike stands on getting all the carriers back to a single pay table. I think that should be probably the number one goal of the NALC is getting carriers back to table one pay. The second table basically creates another class of carrier. There's about $100,000 difference over, the 13 to 15 years it takes you to get to top step. And I'm curious where Mike stands on that, because I think that needs to be the number one. So I'll take the answer off there. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. Bye.
Thanks, Brian. Mike, reactions?
Yeah. So there's currently in our contract, and it came in January 10th of 2013, where there's two tables. And so the people that started before that date are in table one, and the people after that date are in table two. And with this new contract, and really just with the passage of time, because you go up the pay chart and you get to the top, and it's not a two-tier system, because when you get to the top step in table one and table two, it's exactly the same. So because time has elapsed since 2013, 99 or just a huge percent, everybody is pretty much, for all intents and purposes, in the same table. The problem is we were consolidated into table two and not table one. And table one was a much better table for us. A lot of the raises were front loaded. The starting pay was way higher. And it just, you got your raises up front, and then it was kind of the little raises were at the end. Whereas this contract, this table two, is completely prorated. So there's this long march all the way to the top that is, definitely in the interest of the Postal Service and not in our interest, because in the table two, in most places in the country, it takes like 10 years before you're making like a decent wage, like a decent middle class wage. Whereas before, you started off with a pretty decent pay already in table one, and 2-3 years later you were good. You could go buy a house. You could, you were solidly in the middle class. So I do agree we should all be in the same pay table, but it should be table one, not table two. So that's one thing we're looking for out of this contract. The issue of the election in 2026, I'm going to leave that one alone, just because the election is not until the fall of 2026. And we'll see who the candidates are going to be at that time. I'm a candidate for president. I'm running my campaign. And we'll see what the members want to do. But I don't want to take away their right to, make the choice of the person that they want. It's not who I want. It's who the members want as their president. And also don't want President Renfro to win another term. So we do have both of these factors. And, we're talking and trying to figure out what's going to be in the best interest of the members, with also making sure that the members are going to be picking and choosing who their candidate for president is, or who they want as their president of the union in 2026. But it's so far down the road, I don't have anything concrete for you on that right now.
Sure. No, that makes sense. And yeah, like you said, the election's a ways away. There are plenty of time between now and then to have discussions about that sort of thing. So we don't have any, or no, we got one more caller on the line. This caller from a 508 area code. 508 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Greg. I'm a branch president of 334 outside of Boston. Mike, I organized my branch to overwhelmingly vote no, and I think most of my carriers did, or my members did. One of the concerns that we've been talking about is I've been calling it the orange card. There's a new president, seems to be attacking government workers. I know we weren't a part of the email that Shadow President Musk sent out the other day, but do you think Trump could ever play a factor in any of these negotiations, influencing the arbitrator? That's just one of my main concerns. I would still vote no anyways, but him being president now, not a union-friendly president, seems to be a concern among some people. I wonder if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, when they were negotiating the terms of this contract, Biden was the president, and the terms suck. So I don't know. I know that the law, the Postal Reorganization Act, which sets forth the parameters for negotiations and collective bargaining and what the standards are, which is comparability to the wages and benefits of those in the private sector, that law is in effect. And, the arbitrators are beholden to the law. As a matter of fact, the Postal Service went in the last time they went to arbitration with the American Postal Workers Union. The Postal Service tried to argue that, their finances and they're broke or, whatever, that there should be some other consideration outside of that standard that's in the law. And the arbitrator shot him down. It was arbitrator Goldberg. And he's like, no, the statutory provisions are what I'm going to look at here, not outside factors. And I would consider who the president of the United States is to be an outside factor. It may come into play at some point, but one, I wouldn't run scared just because of it. And two, we don't know what that factor would be. So we just have to kind of fight our fight. And I think that means standing up for a good contract. And that's what we're going to do.
Appreciate the call and appreciate the sentiment on that, Mike. I completely agree. And just to add on your response to that question, probably the best single improvement that letter carriers saw as a craft came under President Nixon. Also, not a union-friendly kind of person. It came as a result of wildcat strikes, we all know, in 1970 and the big strikes across the country, and so there was a lot of pressure there to give letter carriers a good deal. But I think history is a teacher there. As far as what you can get even from non-friendly actors. Of course, Trump is a player here. I think it would be difficult to say that he's not, but that doesn't mean that he can't be brought to give letter carriers a good deal. Exactly how you do that is that's kind of up for discussion, and how much of a role he can play is kind of to be determined. But yeah, like Mike said, just because you have somebody that's not friendly in the White House doesn't mean that you can't get a good contract. So, Mike, we don't have any other callers on the line. I appreciate you staying and taking the calls. You didn't have to do that, and I'm sure that the folks who had their questions answered do as well. Appreciate you being generous with your time. Is there anything else that you want to say before we let you go?
Yeah, man. In closing, you brought up the strike of 1970, and I will say this: we got this march planned for Washington on March 23rd. And 55 years ago, letter carriers went out on strike on March the 17th in 1970. And so they were out on strike for 8 days. And when we march this year in Washington, we'll be marching at the same time that they were on strike 55 years ago. And with that same spirit of here's the kind of job and livelihood that we want. And this is not, it's not based on what somebody else thinks, it's based on what we think we deserve and the hard work that we put in on behalf of the American people. And we ask everyone, letter carriers and every other craft in the Postal Service and all the other unions and the American public to stand with us on that day. And I'm really looking forward to that 1.3 mile march from NALC headquarters to USPS headquarters, March 23rd.
Mike Caref, National Business Agent for Region 3 of the National Association of Letter Carriers. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, good sir. I appreciate you, man.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.